I wish.
Ended on a roll.
Oh, okay.
I got all my switches from
You get to go first.
Use the databases.
my girl.
You're pro, so.
All right.
Yeah, you get to go.
Is cake superior to pie? Yes, absolutely. It's clear. First of all, cake is much more it's significantly ingrained into our culture in America and the world because it's delicious. And secondly, as a dish, it is just far more rewarding to make, to eat, to look at, and to enjoy. Now, I want to remind you that at one point we were all little one-year-old babies sitting at a birthday party digging into a birthday cake, not a pie, because cakes are better and our little brains knew it from the moment we were born. Now first, cakes are more significant in our culture. Let me remind you, birthdays, weddings, all of these are cake trademarked events. They can be a year-round delicious treat, however, they are enjoyed as trademark holiday desserts. Now, while pie is possible, it is just not better. Now, secondly, the dish itself is more complex and rewarding. It combines the flavor, whatever flavor you choose, as well as the flour, sugar, butter, and eggs to create one entity, one delicious entity. Pie is the definition of the sum of its parts. It goes in as crust and flavor separately, and you can only enjoy them separately, while the cake creates one beautiful masterpiece. Thank you.
I'm just gonna have to respectfully disagree with everything you just said. So we eat them at every holiday. They are perfectly defined as not only desserts, but breakfast foods. Pies are everywhere. 90% of Americans, according to the American Pie Association, agree that a slice of pie represents the simple pleasures of life. My first point is that pies offer a wide variety of flavors. So, they don't have to be just sweet and full of sugary substances. They can also be rich and savory. How many pies can you think of off the top of your head? Ooh, let me list some. Sweet potato, strawberry, blueberry, strawberry rhubarb, turkey pot pie, fish pie, quiche. There are multiple different flavors, and it doesn't have to be limited to one scope, so the possibilities are endless. And how many flavors of cake are there again? Let me think. Marble, chocolate, vanilla, funfetti. Basic flavors, boring. Next point. Pie is a year-round dessert, and it can be at any holiday occasion. Cake is only limited to weddings and birthdays. So, weddings and birthdays. How many of them do you participate in a year? Not that many. How many holidays are there? A lot. You can use Christmas, Thanksgiving, you could even bring a pie to Easter. It's possible. How many people do you hear say, oh, I'm gonna bring a cake to Christmas? Not many people, unless you are my great-grandfather who brings ice cream cake. But most people bring pie, and they enjoy it. And depending on the season, you get the wide variety of flavors, so overall, pies are superior.
Did we time that?
Unless you are my great-grandfather. It's fine.
Yes, I am your great-grandfather. Hello, Joe.
He does bring ice cream cake, that's true. And nobody eats it. Because guess what? There are pies.
All right. I think I'm good to go.
Oh yeah, no,
Okay.
I already have my rebuttals ready.
Let's
so.
get it. Okay. So first of all, you brought up the different flavors of pie versus cake, and I want to tell you that while you did bring up chocolate, vanilla, marble, and funfetti, you clearly did not research the cake flavors as much as you did the pie flavors, because there are plenty of cake flavors to choose from. I'm talking about red velvet, as well as the classics, also fruit ones such as lemon, apple, and pineapple. There's even an avocado cake, fun fact for all of you. Then there are the savory, less sweet ones such as carrot cake, coffee cake, pastel de tres leches for all you Spanish speakers out there, and yes, cheesecake. Cheesecake, the ultimate dessert, is a cake. I'm sorry, but it's delicious. And cheesecake can also come in many different flavors, so also fun fact for you. And secondly, the cultural significance.
We're in a debate!
First of all, I don't know about you. I think
Thanks for interrupting.
cake
Continue.
is a year-round dessert. Yes, pies are eaten for breakfast more often. That doesn't mean you can't eat cake for breakfast. Also, I go to plenty of birthdays and weddings because I have a lot of family and a lot of friends. So I enjoy cake.
So I don't have family and friends?
Not saying that, just saying I do. Anyway, cake is just... Cake is royalty. Cake is magnificent. Pie is a simple, everyday dessert. It makes you feel more comfortable eating it every single day, but cake, you can enjoy cake every single day if you desire. I desire. I'm sure our friends here desire.
No.
It's delicious.
Okay, so the first point you brought up is that babies think that cake is good. That is not true. Guess what? Their parents hand them a cake, and you know what they do? They grab it with their dumb little hands, and then they eat it. So, you argued also that cakes are far more aesthetically pleasing. While that may be true, that you can decorate it with things like fondant or frosting or those nasty little pieces that you put on top that taste like crap, you can do a lot with pies, too. So, you can do gelatin pies and put whipped frosting on top and use piping kits to make it look pretty. On top of that, too, you can also grate some chocolate on top, so you create a nice variety of textures to go with your gelatin pie. And pies typically need some kind of steam if they are like strawberry rhubarb, so in order to do that, you put the crust on top. What can you do with the crust? Oh, you can cut shapes in it. You can make it look pretty. You can do lattice, which is kind of like, it looks like a flannel, but it's just lines across lines. And so pies can be intricate. There's no doubt about it. Of course, cakes can be too. But guess what? Pies in their own right are beautiful. And then you said the cultural significance again. I don't know what I was going to say. While you say that it is true, a lot of Americans can argue that pie is like the staple food. How many people do you hear saying, oh, yes, cake, American classic? Wrong. You don't hear that many people say it. They say, wow, pie is the best. American Pie by Don McLean. Iconic. So, weighing the pros and cons, pies have a lot more significance than cake.
I just want to hit you guys up with Cake by Flo Rida, 99 Cent. Also,
American classic.
Birthday Cake by Rihanna, Beyonce, and Nicki Minaj.
I didn't know we were doing the cultural significance, so I just wrote that box cake because it's easier to me.
All right,
do we need closing statements then? Okay.
Close it out.
All right, so I think a lot of good points have been brought up here today.
I love you, just so you know.
You too. But kind of remind, there is a little sugar-addicted child in each of us telling us that cake is superior. We want it. It's an instinct because it's delicious and magnificent. It is ingrained in our culture. It is far more satisfying than pie, and yes, it does have a wide variety of flavors to choose from. Now, with that in mind, I encourage you to follow that sugar-addicted little child into a far sweeter existence. Thank you.
While cake is good, let's face it, there are many other desserts in the confectionery world that make cake look extremely unimportant. Pies are a great example of how to bring family and friends together during times of celebration. And they can create a passion for cooking. We need more cooking in the world and less hate. Pies can encourage people to cook more and have more fun and be a family. Thank you.
There you go. More cooking and less meat.
I kind of love that. So Grace is not back from wherever she is. So Avery and Megan, would you guys
Well, wait,
go?
because you have a band lesson, right? So
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, when we get done in time, I want to get it done in
because we did
9:20.
really good.
Yeah, you've got time. You have 7 minutes.
4, 6, 7.
Yeah, but no one has been taking
No one has taken the whole time. So.
I want this.
While you
That's why I did it.
I keep on hoping.
Yeah, you should probably use that.
Give me 5 my things.
DNC.
All right.
I think step up.
American classic.
I'm sorry.
I have my point
Joe
show.
Jonas is
Okay.
classic, so.
Okay, you're not wrong about that, though.
Emma, you kind of forgot about cookie cake and it made me sad.
Oh.
Also,
That's cake
Also-
discrimination.
Also, Emma, you should have mentioned
We
all the
need
styles of cake that
generally
you can do. Like there's
Jen,
sweet
remember when we
cakes,
ate
the
cake
circle
for breakfast
cakes,
at
the
Grace's
layered
house?
cakes.
We all know. That's why I didn't bring it up. Why waste my precious two
So should we just do Cameron and Mitchell?
That's what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Yeah.
Wait, I think we're still gonna.
Oh, okay.
Wait. Oh.
Who's rating?
Wait, who's rating them?
The people before.
Oh,
So
so
we'll
you
just
guys
do
are
it in
ready.
that format.
Oh, okay.
All right, go ahead whenever you're ready.
I want you all to think of your morning routine here. What do you put on first? Well, first there's obviously the essentials. There's your undergarments, the shirt that covers your body, and there's what covers your lower body, your pants. This is what you wear the majority of your day, especially if you're at home lounging around. Socks are essentially accessories to your shoes. You wear them so your shoes don't get ruined or whatever. So you put them on immediately before your shoes because it's only the most logical step. Like I said, sometimes you may not even need to wear socks at home, and it's not like you're going to wait to put on pants before you put on socks. No, you're just going to get up, you're going to get dressed, then you're going to spend time at home. You'll put socks on when you need them. That's why it's logical to put pants on before socks.
Okay. I personally believe that socks should be put on before pants, and this is for two logical reasons. Yours, you presented conveniency, but socks, they serve as somewhat of a lubricant for the pants. So when you put on socks, and I'm assuming that we're talking about like dress pants, like khakis or jeans or things like that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So most of the time you're going to be wearing longer socks, and you know the whole process of kind of like shimmying up your pants is made a whole lot easier when you put on socks first, because those socks on your foot kind of like let it slide up. And socks suppress other body parts in the pants process. There are a couple main reasons for this. If you have long toenails, putting on pants can be troublesome because it will catch on the bottom of the pants. And some users online pointed out that if you are overweight, then it is really just very troublesome to put on pants in general. So when you put on socks first, it makes the whole pants process easier, as I've stated before. And you don't have to put on the socks later to bend down with your tight pants on. I'd just like to point out that a Reddit user named You Biggly Diggly says, I couldn't imagine putting pants on first.
Oh, wait, rebuttal?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I want to address your point about the lubricant thing. Honestly, I feel like the benefit you mentioned, I find to be quite minimal. In fact, actually, you mentioned most people wear longer socks. Just looking around the room, I see a lot of no-show socks, actually. So really, they only cover a small part of your body, whereas your pants cover your entire leg. So the benefit it provides is really quite small and honestly quite minimal. Furthermore, the thing you mentioned about toenails getting caught, that's another thing I found to be, well, quite minimal. I've never really found that to be quite an issue when putting on pants. I do find that to be an issue when putting on socks, but some would say it's rather unavoidable. Socks are a much more delicate fabric that's easier to tear holes in, while pants are more durable. Unless they're made to have holes in them, like some are, I can see in the room. And when you mentioned the point about people are overweight and it's hard to put on jeans, I would say it's more the fault of the clothing manufacturer, because they should make jeans that are, you know, when they make the size of a jean, they should always make sure it's easy for that size to put it on, you know? Like I'm wearing size 30 waist, it's easy for me to put on. So theoretically, a person who's like a size like 35 or whatever, the pants made for them should be easier to put on as it is for somebody else, because it's supposed to be made for them.
Well, yeah, you can talk about should, but sadly that's not the reality. And as I've stated, socks help to put them on. And you say that socks don't help you specifically, but that is based upon your personal experience. And you are not everyone. I've looked online, I've done my research, and a lot of people say that socks really do help putting on pants. And you talk about it's the fault of the pants manufacturers, but they have to serve everyone. And socks are something that everyone can do. So when you put on the socks first, and I know you pointed out that not everyone wears long socks, and I realize that's somewhat of a fault in our argument because we haven't really specified what we're exactly talking about. But I think we're talking mainly about khakis, jeans, work pants, things like that. And I like to imagine that the person is wearing longer socks because out of a more dressy attire or a dress coat. So that will cover more leg than you pointed out, like with ankle socks. And I would like you personally to go home, put on some long socks, and put on pants. They just slide right up. It's really It will change your viewpoint, I promise you. And with the suppression of other body parts, like you pointed out, they really do help. I know that you pointed out your specific individual experience, but that is not indicative of everyone.
So I do see there are some things I haven't really considered. Another thing we also haven't considered is that while we do like to assume that we always going to be wearing pants, dress pants, work pants, we also haven't considered the fact that many people wear shorts. Oh, wait, what time is that for anyway? Oh wait, that's my alarm. Sorry. Almost done. Yeah. No, the point is that many people wear shorts, and so that has little to no effect on the socks because they cover very little of the body, and thus they're extremely easy to get on. And now I just want to wrap my final argument up saying is that putting on pants before socks, it's not really a complicated process. You don't really think about before you do it. It just comes on instinct. It's not something we're trained to do. It's just something that comes naturally.
Well, I disagree, of course.
That is what this is about.
And our debate is explicitly about pants, but I do agree with you that shorts would be easier and they kind of minimize the effects of socks. But I really have shown you why socks are better, and you say that it's just logical, built in us, why we put on our pants first. But, I mean, our instinct isn't always correct, you know? Putting on socks, like I said, I encourage you to go home and try it. Put on some long socks, put on those pants, and they slide right up, and it makes the whole process easier. Our natural instinct is not always correct, and I have clearly shown you that putting on socks is a lot better. Putting on socks first is a lot better than putting on pants first.
Okay.